Well, thank you very much for coming. What a beautiful day for a beautiful ceremony. See a lot of familiar faces in the audience, very nostalgic. My name is Mike Cohen, and I've been proud to serve as a city councillor for District 2 in Côte Saint-Luc for the past 20 years. And by day, for 27 years now, I've worked for the English Montreal School Board. And as the manager of marketing and communications, I've had a front row seat to the challenges the Anglophone community faces in regards to the CIQ government that tramples on the rights of minorities. Just look at Bills 21, 40, 96, they're prime examples. So as the chair of the Human Rights Walkway, I want to thank Mayor Brownstein and the council for agreeing to our recommendation that we recognize 3 gentlemen who put their political careers on the line because they stood up for their principles. And 2 of them are with us here today, Mr. Clifford Lincoln and Mr. Richard French. And the family of the late Herbert Marx, who was a good friend of mine, and we miss him dearly. They resigned from the then Quebec Liberal government in protest against the use of the notwithstanding clause to override a Supreme Court ruling affirming freedom of expression and minority language rights. And isn't it sad that we have been facing from the CAQ in recent years, what we've been facing is far worse. I would imagine among the 90+ CAQ caucus members, there are some who do not have sovereigntist tendencies and anti-Anglophone bones in their body. And I wish just one of them would stand up and emulate the stand that Mr. Lincoln, Mr. French, and Mr. Marx took so many years ago. And today we're going to be inducting them into our Human Rights Walkway. I want to acknowledge Mayor Robert Libman, former Mayor Robert Libman, and former M&A for the Equality Party, who's here today because when he was borough mayor, this was his creation. I remember I worked with him on it, and Robert was just saying that he wants to thank Mr. Lincoln, Mr. French, and Mr. Marx because if it wasn't for them, he would have never been an M&A. They got him elected. So, because he took a stand, Robert Libman took a stand on human rights. I also want to acknowledge former Councillor Alan J. Levine, who was a big supporter of this matter. Councillor Stephen Erdely is with us, and do we have any other members of council? And of course, our Deputy Mayor, Dita Burkoof. I'm very pleased today to welcome students from Edinburgh Elementary School in Montreal West and Solomon Schechter Academy on Côte Saint-Luc Road. And you are all here today part of a living history lesson. I was talking to a number of you before the ceremony, and you get it. You're educated. You know what we're going through right now. You know why we're here, and you know why these people are such heroes. So to start off, I want to have greetings from our mayor, Mitchell Brownstein.
Thank you, Mike. What an honor to be here. Thanks to be here with the kids. It's really special having the kids from Edinburgh and Solomon Schechter here today. Yeah, we're dealing interesting times. We're still dealing in the city of Côte Saint-Luc is challenging Bill 96. We're in court with 23 other municipalities. We're inspired by these gentlemen who have stood up for minority rights and Anglo rights. And of course, the fight continues. So we will continue, thanks to you. We're inspired by you, and we will continue to do our best to support minority rights and Anglo rights as you stood up in 1988. And it's an honor to be here today to celebrate Herbert Marx, Richard French, and Clifford Lincoln. Today we inscribe their names on the Côte Saint-Luc Human Rights Walkway, a place dedicated to those who stood firm for justice, dignity, and human rights. In December 1988, these 3 men made a decision that would define their legacy. They resigned from the Quebec cabinet rather than accept the use of the notwithstanding clause to override a Supreme Court ruling protecting freedom of expression and minority language rights. It was a moment of moral clarity, a courageous act of conscience and principle. They risked their political careers to defend the rule of law and the rights of minorities. That is the kind of leadership that inspires us still, nearly 4 decades later. And I just want to say I talked about Bill 96 briefly. I mean, there are issues before us, and for the kids especially, they should know, like the city of Côte Saint-Luc has bilingual status. And right now, we're in court dealing with another law, Bill 96, because our bilingual status allows us to have certain rights that will be taken away. And some of those rights, I'll give you one example. One rule would force cities to discipline employees who don't follow the rules of Bill 96. So if we have a model employee who does outstanding work, we're supposed to discipline him and put a reprimand in his human resource file if someone complains that he spoke to them one time in English. This reprimand would be at the same level as if he was bullying a colleague or sexually harassed a staff member. So we're challenging that, of course, because we just don't think that it's right, and we're inspired by these gentlemen to continue to support minority rights and language rights for sure. So hope that court case will be heard in a while. It always takes time, but it's important when you believe in something to stand up for it, and 23 municipalities are supporting us in this fight. Herbert Marx, who we sadly lost in 2020, is represented today by his family. Richard French and Clifford Lincoln, thank you for being here with us. Your presence reminds us that integrity and courage are timeless values. En ajoutant vos noms à notre promenade des droits de la personne, aux côtés des figures comme Nelson Mandela, Viola Desmond et John Humphrey, nous affirmons que votre geste n'était pas seulement historique, il était héroïque. Avant de terminer, je veux remercier chaleureusement les écoles présentes aujourd'hui qui aident à transmettre ces leçons de courage à la prochaine génération. Merci aussi aux membres du conseil, actuels et anciens, municipal, pour votre engagement envers notre communauté, et à tous les citoyens qui sont venus partager à ce moment. A special thank you to Mike Cohen, Chair of our Toponymy Committee, for his leadership in ensuring that the names we honor truly reflect the values of Côte Saint-Luc. And on behalf of Côte Saint-Luc, we thank you for showing us that democracy is strongest when guided by conscience. May your example continue to light the path for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge the Director General of the English Montreal School Board, Mr. Nick Catalifos, who's with us. Thank you, Nick. Next, I think since we're honoring 3 M&As, we'll hear from our present-day Darcy McGee M&A, Elisabeth Prass.
I'd like to first thank the City of Côte Saint-Luc for this wonderful occasion and bringing light to these 3 pillars of the English-speaking community in Quebec. As a young M&A for the Quebec Liberal Party, I very much look to inspiration towards the gestures and the bravery and courage that it took Clifford Lincoln, Richard French, and Herbert Marx to defend their community and to act by conviction. Unfortunately, we're in a world today where these gentlemen resigned because of the use after a Supreme Court decision of the notwithstanding clause. We live in a Quebec now where the CAQ government imposes a notwithstanding clause as they deposit a bill. So in terms of democracy, we've taken steps back rather than taking steps forward. But the gesture that these gentlemen made, and I'm especially glad that we have a lot of students here today, because you're the generation. You're the ones who are going to lead the next generation. And so when you hear the courageous bravery that certain people have, it'll hopefully give you the conviction to act the same way when you feel that your rights are aren't being applied. So again, I thank the City of Côte Saint-Luc. I thank you for what you did all those years ago that I think brought a lot of courage and a lot of conscientiousness to a lot of people in the English-speaking community in regards to what we have to stand up for and how we can stand up for ourselves. It's not always easy, but it's the right thing to do. So again, very proud to be here with these 3 gentlemen today, and to the City of Côte Saint-Luc for marking marking what they did over their careers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Prass. Joe Ortona, the chair of the English Montreal School Board, was unable to be with us today, but of course I'm very proud to work with Joe. He is probably one of the greatest Anglo rights activists in the province right now. And we have, I think, representatives from the organization TALK, which are also doing a wonderful job for us. But here to speak on behalf of Mr. Ortona is the Commissioner for Côte Saint-Luc, Montreal West, and Hampstead, Paola Samuel.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here today speaking on behalf of Joe Ortona, the chair of the English Montreal School Board. I was elected just under a year ago to serve as the EMSB Commissioner for Côte Saint-Luc, Montreal West, and Hampstead. As a former broadcaster at Global Montreal and CBC, I spent many years covering the language issues in Quebec. What inspired me to seek office was Mr. Artona and the brave stands he has taken on English language rights. I am so glad today to see our young students from Edinburgh Elementary School in Montreal West here with us. For you, this is a lesson in authentic learning. I am so honored as well to be here alongside Clifford Lincoln, Richard French, and the family of the late Herbert Marx. Mr. Lincoln and Mr. French, you serve as role models for the work that we do at the EMSB. We've taken the CAQ government to court on Bills 40, 21, and 96. The CAQ government continues to treat the Anglophone community and those who believe in religious symbols with disdain. We are standing up to them just as you did in 1988 when the Supreme Court of Canada struck down provisions in Quebec's language laws that banned languages other than French from the province's commercial signs. Premier Robert Marx used the notwithstanding clause in the Charter of Rights to save the offending provisions, and you gave up your cabinet positions. Allow me to thank and salute the City of Côte Saint-Luc as well for this initiative today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Samuel. And our Member of Parliament, Liberal Member of Parliament, who knows these gentlemen very well, Anthony Housefather, is in Ottawa today because Parliament is starting. So speaking on his behalf is not only the person who runs his office, but she's also EMSB School Commissioner, Chelsea Craig.
Good morning, everyone. It's absolutely humbling to find myself in a space with so many amazing English-speaking Quebecers, so many people that I've looked up to and that I've read about while studying at Concordia. It's honestly, it's really humbling, and I'm honored to be speaking in front of you today. So my name is Chelsea Craig. I'm the Director of Operations for Anthony Housefather, and as Mike just mentioned, Anthony is in Ottawa. It's his first day back in the session, so he wanted me to deliver this important message for him. The Human Rights Walkway is an important reminder of how the City of Côte Saint-Luc has always stood up for everyone. Over time, we have honored people from across the world who have stood up for the fundamental human rights and values. As a city, we have never skirted away from speaking out in favor of the Charter of Rights and the importance of both Canada's official languages and them being respected. Today, the Council of Côte Saint-Luc has decided to honor three men who put principles first and voted against their own party and government when it chose to break an election promise and use the notwithstanding clause to override fundamental rights in the Canadian and Quebec charters. Clifford Lincoln has always been one of my heroes. I have had an opportunity to know him as an MP, an elder statesman whose principled values are a testament to his integrity. I'm a huge admirer of Herbert Marx, whose brilliance as a jurist and those characters shone a light over the Darcy McGee provincial riding, and I'm so glad his wife Eva is here today. I didn't know Richard French as well, but his actions in standing up against Bill 178 and representing his community also speak to his character. Having been one of the few people who's actually been in somewhat of the same position as Clifford, Herbie, and Richard, I understand how difficult it is to vote for your principles and to represent your community when everyone around you is putting pressure on you to act otherwise. When I voted alone against the amendments to the Official Languages Act, which referenced Quebec's language law, and in my view would have a negative impact on the English-speaking minority in Quebec, I thought, what would Clifford Lincoln do? And in my mind, standing my ground and doing what Clifford, Herbie, and Richard did was the right thing to do. I learned from their example, their principles, and their courage, and with this monument to them on the Human Rights Walkway, hopefully generations going forward will learn about what they did and be inspired by their courage. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chelsea. And now we will hear from the two inductees and a member of the Marx family. So I made a mistake. I asked Clifford Lincoln, how do you do it? How do you do it? You're 96 years young. And he said, no, you're wrong. I'm 97. And he drives a car. He writes op-ed pieces. He's just incredible. And we're so lucky to have him as one of our advocates. So first, let's hear from Mr. Clifford Lincoln. Mr. Lincoln?
Bonjour. Je voudrais tout d'abord remercier le maire de Côte Saint-Luc et tous d'entre vous ici pour cet honneur qui nous est fait à Rick et à moi et à Herb Marx. Um, I'm an old guy now, 97 years old, but I still remember very vividly the time of Bill 178 and how tense and emotional it was within the caucus, in fact, within the press at large, within the public. It was a huge issue. And even then, this referred to the application of the notwithstanding clause after a judgment of the Supreme Court. Today, things have changed drastically. The notwithstanding clause is being used willy-nilly, casually, blatantly, preemptively, to shelter rights from us, to shelter our rights of redress before the courts. I think it is totally unacceptable. I am glad that some minorities in Quebec, unfortunately, not enough people, are standing up and denouncing it. But sadly, the great majority of the public at large have become so inured with accepting the notwithstanding clause, the suppression of rights, that it has become commonplace. It is used today, the clause, not only in Quebec, in Ontario, in Saskatchewan, in Alberta. Shame on all of them that use it. It is a disgrace, because human rights and liberties are the fundamental core of a society of justice and fairness. And it should never, they should never be withdrawn from our societies, our communities. So keep on fighting for the right of preserving justice and fairness in society. Not only do we deserve it, but if we want to keep a society of rights for our children, for those with us today, we have to keep fighting, because rights will always win the day. It might take a long time, but keep at it, and let's believe in a type of society where justice and fairness and dignity will override a political ambition and political suasion. So thank you very much, Côte Saint-Luc, for this honor today. We appreciate it very much, and let it serve as an example which is far bigger than us as individuals. It is far bigger than us. It is a question for all society at large. Thank you.
Stay with us for a second. Stay with us, Rick. I just want to ask one favor of you, because we'll all remember the speech you made at the National Assembly. I would just like you to know if you would repeat that for us. The rights are rights are rights. Could you do it for me? Because I've never seen it in person.
No, it's okay. I don't have to repeat it. It's there. It's going to stay.
All right. Well, he just stood up and he said, rights are rights are rights are rights. And I was a little bit younger then, and it inspired me, and I think of that all the time. So now we'll hear from the former M&A for Westmount and also former Cabinet Minister, Mr. Richard French.
Thank you very much. I'm, like Cliff, honored to be here, and in fact, it's a fabulous day. We've got the next generation with us. What's not to like? I don't want to repeat what Cliff has said. I'll just briefly say this, that partout où je vais au Québec, je suis bien reçu et bien traité par les francophones autant que les anglophones et les autres minorités. C'est une province extraordinaire, et si on est là, c'est parce qu'on veut être là. If we're here in Quebec, it's because we want to be in Quebec, because we feel comfortable in Quebec. Do we feel comfortable about our rights? No, we don't. We have the rights that the Quebec National Assembly feels like providing to us at any given conjuncture. The charters are essentially a window dressing. under the current circumstances. But I would hope that we would not allow this shadow to spoil the reality of life here, the many great things that go on here. I don't in any way wish to criticize those who defend themselves. I did it, and I'm proud I did it. But I also think that there's many good things about being in Quebec. We should remember them and treasure them, even as we fight for those aspects of life here that we don't appreciate. I would like to say to the young folks, it's just about over, first thing. You know, it won't be much longer. It's a great place to live. It's a great place to be. And learning a second language is like opening a door on a new world. And I hope that when your teachers begin to teach you French, which I hope has already occurred, but if it hasn't, it will occur shortly, that you will do your very best to learn it. I'm very fortunate to have acquired a second language late in life. It's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And I would hope that, notwithstanding the periodic feeling of second-class citizenship that may afflict you, that you recognize the wonderful opportunities that learning a second language, in this instance French, would provide. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to be here. I'm buoyed, I'm rejuvenated by the atmosphere and the presence, a beautiful day, and the enthusiasm. So thank you very much, and thanks to the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
Thank you very much, Mr. French. Before we hear from the Marx family, I wanted to bring Mr. Katalipos up because I wanted to ask him a question, if you don't mind coming up. Mr. Katalipos is the Director General of the school board, but he was also the principal of some French immersion schools. And I just would like it on the record, Edinburgh is a French immersion school. I just wanted you to share with the audience how much our school board embraces French.
Well, thank you, Mike. First of all, I just want to say that it's an honor to be here on such an auspicious occasion, especially with these incredible individuals who have served as an example for all of us. As far as our French immersion programs are concerned, we're extremely proud of how strong our programs are at the EMSB. About 75% of our students graduate with a fully bilingual certificate, and that's because of the strength of the immersion programs in particular. Mike mentioned I was privileged to be principal of a couple of programs that ran these a couple of schools, excuse me, that ran these programs. One of which, for example, was Rosalind in Westmount. And I can honestly say that when the kids finish in grade 6, their command of both languages is excellent. They go on to immersion programs at the high school level as well. And for us, we're proud that we celebrate the French language. We're proud that we celebrate the culture here in Quebec. But that does not mean that we should weaken English or try to erase it. And I think that's the message that has to be given to the CAQ government. The fact that we want to celebrate both languages is a strength, and we believe that our students have a major advantage because of it. So, thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have the Marx family with us, Eva Marx, Herb's wife, his children, his grandchildren. So thank you for being here. I know your daughter and son, your son from New York City, your daughter from Toronto, came in here with the whole family, so really pleased to have you here. And your son, Robert Marx, is going to say a few words on behalf of the family. Robert? Robert, who is, by the way, a prominent orthopedic surgeon in New York, so if any of you have knee problems, maybe he'll do a consultation for you.
Thank you very much, Mike. I know Mike for a long time. We went to Wager, and I also went to Edinburgh a little while back, French immersion back then too. And Mike was a very close friend of my dad for many, many years, so thank you, Mike, for putting this together. Thank you also, Mayor Brownstein, for organizing this. My dad would be so proud. He was such a defender of human rights. He was one of the leaders of the Quebec Human Rights Commission long before politics, and then in politics as well. He grew up son of poor immigrants from Eastern Europe in what's now the Plateau Montréal, but back then it was the Jewish ghetto. And he learned French late, but he was accepted by the Québécois and became the first Jew and first English professor at the Faculty of Law at the University of Montreal. And then in politics, his people were all Québécois who worked for him. So, as he used to say, je suis né à l'Hôtel Dieu sur la rue Jeanne d'Arc, fait que Je suis Québécois pur laine au coton. But he never forgot where he came from.